And we'll go for 100 laps. That make up the twin 100s for Joliet Valve.
A lot of faithful race fans in the grandstands here this evening. Some of them came out earlier on this morning around 10 o'clock to come in to witness practice and so on. It had been here for most of the day. A lot of faithful race fans again in the grandstands. Pace car now pulling away from the field, about set to head into the garage area. Field now in turn number 3, all bunched together, getting set for the green flag. Off turn number 4, they get it. Green flag goes in the air. Hill will get the jump going to turn number 1. He'll protect the bottom of the racetrack. Edie gets back in line behind him. Papini runs 3rd. He's single file. Everybody from about 5th on back are side by side working to turn number 3. Down the inside of the racetracks comes Wilcox, or McCoy rather, trying to take a position. Following him through is Bilderback, trying to open up the inside groove, but he's hoping McCoy will punch the holes for him on the back straightaway. Three wide for a half a lap works, 3 wide for a full lap won't. Almost an accident heading to turn number 1 as they all started off turn number 4, 3 wide. Dennis Miller along with Papini and Edie. Edie's getting lost in the shuffle. He's had a frustrating night already, and we're only 3 laps into the race. Took off there on the first lap, but has since been sinking like a boat anchor. Is now trying to fall back in line just to run there for the moment to prevent from getting past, but now he's losing positions in wholesale fashion. Guile still leads the way, got a lot of clean air as everybody from there back was racing amongst one another. If you race door to door and even 3 wide here, it's not going to work. You're going to lose ground if somebody gets some clean air. That's exactly what happened, and the leader already catching the tail end of the field as he works off turn number 4. About 3 lap machines directly in front of the leaders, about to put them 1 lap down as they head to turn number 1. First one in front of the leader is Bruce Habel. Habel will stay to the inside along with the automobile of Scott Lawver. Then the machine of Davis also there. He's about to be passed now as the leader has already passed 2 of them in turn number 1. They stay to the inside and out of harm's way. Guy backstretch goes to work on Davis, changes lanes on the run, works the outside groove to make the pass on him. Davis stays to the inside of the racetrack to allow the leader to go by. Steve Ruback, not so lucky, got boxed in for a moment, had to breathe the throttle, didn't get back on it, and lost a car length in the process, falls back 4 car lengths into the rears. Really the hard scrambling going on is from about Dennis Miller, who now goes to work on McCoy going to turn number 1, tries to get the inside line going into turn number 1, tries to draw even on the backstretch. A couple of Chevrolets going at it. Miller, the Rookie of the Year last year, won a couple of races this season, had a fine season earlier on as that has now been concluded, trying to make a name for himself on the National Short Track Championship weekend here at Rockford, pulling up underneath McCoy. McCoy out horsepowers him and out flexes him going to turn number 3. He's doing a pretty good job keeping the position on the outside because Miller really is faster. It's just a matter of time before he makes the pass to get sole possession of the spot. Trouble in turn number 1. A couple of machines get together. Another spins and skitters off the apron down through the grass. Looks to be the machine. Now they've taken the hood off the car. They've gone to look inside the engine compartment. Going to be a single file restart. Guiley comes off turn number 4, takes the green flag. We're underway once again here at Rockford. Guiley, a good restart, pulls away by a car length. Rubik now closes the gap after he did not get a good restart coming off turn number 4, but has reeled him in quick. He closes in within a half a car length, tries to search the bottom groove, almost a pass and change for the 4th spot. Here's Bilderback trying to dive down the inside of the veteran of Dennis Miller. Miller doesn't cut him any slack though, even though he stays on the outside. Double wide on the backstretch with the Ford of Bilderback to the inside, to the outside, the Chevrolet of Miller. As long as they do that, the leaders are going to run nose to tail and catch lap traffic and pass everybody, leave those guys behind. They'll then get boxed up and have to run single file after racing door to door. They better hurry up and do something. Bilderback gets the spot from Miller, picks up 4th. He'll try to track down the front 3, but the task at hand now is not only trying to catch them, but encounter some of the lap traffic. For the moment, Guiley off turn number 4, about a quarter of a straightaway from catching more lap cars, including Stevens. He's the next machine to go a lap down. He was involved in that first caution up between turns 1 and 2. Right now, he sees the leader coming. Guiley going to the outside. Guiley not only trying to clear the lap car, he's trying to protect the groove and protect it carefully to keep Rubik directly behind him, who stays right up on his rear deck lid for the moment. They'll swing wide of the lap car of Stevens on the backstretch, make the pass through turn 3, get boxed in again, then hit the gas to clear the Taylor car, who boxed in Stevens. They finally dispose of those machines. Entering turn number 1 is Rubeck's to the outside groove, about a half a car length behind him as he enters turn number 3. Middendorf, the next machine to get past, as a lot of cars all racing in a big cluster for the time being. Guiley under challenge right now on his rear deck lid, now hanging a fender to the inside with the preferred groove. Going to turn number 1 is Rubeck, trying to pull even up off the corner to grab the spot. On the back straightaway, they clear the lap machine, who's to the inside of the racetrack. They'll swing up off turn number 4, single file for the moment, but Bilderback's been able to take advantage of those guys entering lap traffic. He's closed in right up on the rear deck lid. Up off turn number 2, Papini starts to pressuring, but an inside line doesn't come available because the 2 lap cars are blocking that move there. Now they get a little bit of clear racetrack. Watching his move carefully, and off turn number 4 is Guiley trying to protect the lead. Leads by a car length. The front 4 now, or make that 5th, is Miller, who lost a spot from Bilderback, but Bilderback is getting racy now, trying to grab 3rd. That enables Miller to close in. He pulls within a half a car length. Will try to reclaim 4th from Bilderback. It doesn't work. He tried to slice down low, lost a half a car length, pulled back behind him. Off turn number 2, Papini slides up the banking. Here comes Bilderback again, weaving, trying to move to the outside or inside lane, whichever's available to try to grab the position. Miller gets back in line behind Bilderback. Now a challenge for the lead. Down to the inside goes Rubeck to try to take the lead away. Guiley now to the outside. He'll use the lap car and set it up for a pick. He works it to perfection, at least so far. Almost 3 wide there. They split the difference on the lap machine. Going to turn number 1, Middendorf can do nothing but watch the leaders go by. He'll now stay on the apron to give courtesy to the cars on the lead lap, which consists of a 5-car breakaway right now at the front of the field, with Guiley leading. Running 2nd is Rubeck. 3rd belongs to Papini. 4th is Bilderback, and 5th is Dennis Miller. Miller's a car really not as fast as the cars up front and just ahead of him, but he's been able to catch them due to the fact that they've caught lap traffic. Rubeck, about 5-10 laps ago, had an opportunity to make a pass. However, they caught a lap car. This is his perfect opportunity now, but this time he can't get the stick all the way for the lead. He finally drives to turn number 3 underneath him for the spot, tries to grab the lead as he enters turn number 1, almost gets into the side of Gill. A nice job by both drivers, keeping their machines off one another and the outside wall. Rubeck with a preferred groove to turn number 3, makes it stick on the bottom. If he can do that, he'll have the spot covered. The lap car is really complicating matters at this stage of the race. Right now, the leader, Steve Rubeck, who just took the spot away from Guiley, went down to the inside. He punched the hole for Ricky Bilderback, the 02 machine. He followed him through as they try to get around the lap car. 3 wide off turn number 2. That ain't going to work, people. Off the corner, checking up is Papini. Papini gets back in line behind Guiley, but Guiley gets drop kicked from 1st to 3rd in one fell swoop. Rubeck now catching lap traffic, works to turn number 1, goes to the outside, following his every move and playing follow my shadow is Ricky Bilderback, who stays within a half a car length to turn number 3. They get boxed in behind April Reimer trying to get by her, but they kind of got to use patience at this stage of the race. Things kind of getting strung out. We're almost to the halfway point. Rubeck knows he's got a fast car. He's just trying to bide his time behind the lap traffic to get by as he works to turn number 3. At the present time, he does have his hands full with Ricky Bilderback. Bilderback has come from about 5th to 2nd in a hurry, and he's done it with the lap cars being in front of him. He's passed them on the inside to the outside. It makes no difference. His car, you can say, is working anywhere he wants to make it work. Down to the inside off turn number 4. He draws even at the stripe. Back to turn 1. He tries to hang the fender underneath him. Mark Anderson's the lap car in front of the leader. Holds up the machine of Rubeck. He has to brake early. Accepting the invitation down low is Bilderback. He'll set the spot, give the thank you sign, and pick up the lead in the process. One more lap before we hit the halfway point on the back stretch. Bilderback seeing the tail end of the field, or more lap traffic, I should say. He's already sliced through a lot of it. At least Rubeck did for the moment. 2 lead changes so far in the race as Guiley gave up the top spot to Rubeck. And now the third leader, the new leader, is Ricky Bilderback. Got as much lap, what seems like a track that he's got a million laps on. That's probably the case. Off turn number 4 is going to clear the lapped automobile of Bobby Davis. He's been lapped on several occasions. As he stays to the inside, he knows they're just going to come around again, so he just stays there. Front 2 now, opening up a little bit of daylight on everybody else as they work off turn number 4. Bilderback leading, Rubeck 2nd. 3rd is Papini. He's not made up any ground the last few laps, but has not lost any either. An unscheduled stop, a man on pit road. That is Bobby Hacker. It looks like possibly a little minor left front damage, but the hood goes up. His night may have just come to an abrupt end. We'll get an update there in a moment. Now they take the hood off. He's going to rejoin the field, but lose several laps along the way. Now trouble in turn number 1. One machine spins to the inside, another up against the wall on the driver's side of the car, and one going in backwards motion off turn number 2, which was inside. Bilderback shakes free of them in a hurry. Gets gone like a jackrabbit. Up through the gearbox he comes. Takes the green flag. Heads to turn number 1. Rubeck stays right with him. Follows in his tire tracks for the moment. In turn number 1. Tries to go inside. Back to the outside. Gets back in line. He's content to ride there for the moment off the end of the backstretch. Rubeck had thoughts of making it down low and trying to get on the apron to get up underneath him, but thought better of it. They almost exchanged sheet metal at the exit of turn number 2. They do not, however, and continue straight. The front 2 have the cushion of the lap car of Hacker in between them. In 3rd place, Papini. Then it's 2 car lengths back to Dennis Miller sitting in the 4th spot. 2 car lengths back in 5th is Guiley. The last several laps of the last 25 to 30 laps at least, the front 5 from 3rd on back has been basically unchanged. Really, the ongoing scramble continues for the lead. Best battle on the racetrack. Down low goes Rubeck trying to make the pass. He'll hang the fender up underneath him momentarily, but from the center part of the turn off is where he gets beaten and onto the straightaways, and he has to fall back in line. Right now, he's not losing any ground, but not gaining any either. Right now, sitting in the 2nd position. Papini trying to close in from the rear flank, 2 car lengths behind. They'll tiptoe through 3 and 4. Now Rasmussen, the next machine to go, who is many laps down, who was involved in that first caution, which involved 3 cars up between turns 1 and 2. He spun and got stuck down through the grass and was unable to get out of there and had to receive help from the wrecker to get going again. He's about to go a lap down, but a lot of cars now scrambling, trying to stay ahead of the leader. It's not going to happen. They have to stay to the inside. They'll yield the outside groove, give plenty of real estate to Bilderback. He's gone again now, trying to set the picks on the lap cars to hopefully box in the cars behind him. Rubeck sitting in the 2nd spot. Directly behind him is Papini in 3rd. He's about a car length back, trying to use the lap car as an advantage to possibly close in, but he's really not had anything for the front 2. He's just stayed with them because of the lap traffic keeps stacking up in front of him. Haven't really talked much tonight about Dennis Miller. He's won numerous times here at Rockford Speedway, has been a regular here for a lot of years, is currently sitting in the 4th position. He's shaken himself free from the lap traffic and is closing in within a couple of car lengths of Papini, who sits in the 3rd spot. The chase still on for the lead, however. Rubeck trying everything he can. He's worked that bottom. He really hasn't tried the outside. Bilderback's been stronger up there, working the high groove. Could be pulling a little bit different gear, and it's working well for him so far this evening. Once he grabbed the lead, he was able to keep it no matter how close Rubeck gets to him. A whole juggernaut in front of the leader, though, as they're stacked up 2 wide. If they stay that way and instead they get crazy racing 3 wide, things are going to get some kind of interesting. But for the moment, they're racing double wide, now starting to string out and run nose to tail. Just a couple of lap cars real slow, like they're headed down the pit road, but they stay on the racetrack. Swinging wide of another lap machine, which is Bayer to the inside. He sees Bilderback coming. Down to the inside, here comes Johnson giving a tap from behind. Again, a little bumper car action going on in 3 and 4. Bilderback applied the front bumper to Johnson, but was able to get by him. Following his every move is Rubeck. He's to the outside when he's been strong on the inside. Let's see if he loses ground. Down the back straightaway, 2 car lengths as he tries to get around the machine of Stevens, who was involved in an accident earlier on after running in the last chance race to get into this feature. 20 laps to go. Yeah, we've gotten through this one pretty quickly. The last few laps around, they've dodged a couple of bullets, especially up there in turn number 4. Cars wanted to go inside, outside, and in the middle of the racetrack. Back to the line is still Bilderback showing the way. 2nd place is Rubeck, sitting in the 2nd spot. They are now forming a breakaway, trying to get away from everybody else. Papini, he's had nothing for him all night. He's had a good race car, just kind of maintaining his position, sitting 3rd in the running order. He's going to have to worry about Miller. Miller could be a player before this one's over. He's going to get a piece of this one, at least maybe a 3rd out of it, if he continues to work and be persistent to try to get by Papini. He goes to turn number 1. He tries the outside to the entry to the corner. Will fall back in line a car length. They have to work the lap traffic. They'll tiptoe in 3 and 4. The lap car is still to the inside, though, doing a good job of getting out of everybody's way. It just looks like disaster if they get about a quarter of a straightaway within them. Trouble on the back straightaway. One machine tags the inside wall near the tail end of the wall. Going to turn number 3. He just kissed it, but he has some wrinkled sheet metal along with some damage that he sustained.
3 and 4. Green flag, we're racing.
Down the stripe, green flag goes in the air. Back underway, just 10 laps to go. Rubeck stays right with him, bottles out to turn number 1, or bottoms out. Gets back in line, however, as he tried to open up the inside groove, but couldn't. Now here's the opportunity. Dives down to the inside of the racetrack. Bilderback by a nose at the stripe. Back to turn number 1. Rubeck still trying to grab the position as he tried to roll up underneath him to set up to the exit of turn number 2. It didn't develop. Papini now closes in. Add him to the equation. He could fold a blanket over that top 3 now as they work off turn number 4. Head back off into turn number 1. Down to the inside now, trying to protect the position is Rubeck. He's slow and off the pace as he falls off dramatically. Here's Papini going by down low and exchanging sheet metal. Getting into the side of him is Dennis Miller. Here's Guiley getting by, also opening up the inside groove. Getting drop kicked now. The 5th is Steve Rubeck after having a chance to win. One car is George Bond. Something amiss on his automobile. Slow up into the gray area of the racetrack. We'll keep it out off the wall. Close call in the front straightaway is Travis Eldridge. Almost rear-ended him, and he was basically almost in the trunk with him.
Shootout at the old corral here at the Rockford Speedway. Here comes Bilderback out of turn number 4. Green flag, we're back up racing.
Question now is, does anybody have anything for Ricky Bilderback? He's been slow on the restarts. Really, that's the only time he's been seriously challenged. Papini tries to open up the inside groove along the midpoint of the backstretch. Falls back in line, now drives to turn number 3. He'll pull even at the stripe as they cross the line. Now back to turn number 1. Bilderback says, you're not getting the lead. Off turn number 2, he works that outer groove, continues to keep the top spot. Papini now has to worry about the machine of Dennis Miller. Miller to the inside, both machines changing lanes, trying to get to the inside. Miller got loose coming off turn number 4. He could be out of this thing. He lost 2 car lengths. Off turn number 2 again, Papini, but he has to check up because the lap cars in turn number 3 complicating matters. He now starts to draw even once again. Man, he's getting around this place on the bottom of the racetrack. One of the few cars we've seen to do that here tonight. Steve Ruback continues to fall back. Some sparks now trailing from underneath the automobile. He stays to the inside, continues to bottom out through the corners. Nevertheless, back up front 4 now. Heads off turn number 2, Bilderback occupying the outside lane. He works back to turn number 3, encountering some lap traffic. 4 machines, they could be a factor. Here comes Papini down low, trying to grab the spot, gets back in line again. They clear the lap car and dispose of Rasmussen. Still more to encounter here in the final time on the backstretch. They move wide on another lap car to the inside of the racetrack. Here comes Papini to the inside, not close enough. He'll come up a tad short. Ricky Bilderback will win the first of the Twin 100s here. Joliet Valve Twin 120 100s here at Rockford Speedway. He now pulls even along the back straightaway. Gives congratulations, Papini does, to the winner, Ricky Bilderback.
One more time, have a big round of applause to Ricky Bilderback. And Pat Sharp from Joliet Valves here, Ricky, presenting you with the trophy. Pat, go ahead.
Ricky, on behalf of Joliet Valves and everybody here at the Rockford Speedway, hell of a race. Congratulations.
All right, the checkered flag once again waved over the head of Ricky Bilderback. Ricky, just a few, we'll let you get some photos in there. Once again, our thanks to Joliet Valves, sponsoring the Twin 100s. And Ricky Bilderback picking up the honors in the first of 2 100-lap feature events. All right, Ricky, congratulations to you once again. Certainly a very satisfying win for you. As I reflect back onto the race, about halfway through the 100-lap feature, you took the lead. Your thoughts at that point?
Well, I knew Al's always fast in these races, and Bobby's really fast. And I really, Rubeck come out of the woodwork there, and he was really fast. He was faster than we were, and I snookered him on a lap car and got by, but he was definitely the car to beat there tonight.
Well, 2 thoughts ran through my mind. You took a double barrel shot from not only Steve Rubeck, but also Al Papini in the last 10 laps there. You bobbled just a little bit up there in second and turn number 2, allowed Rubeck to pull up alongside, but you got the better bite out of the turn down the backstretch and into turn 3.
Well, that's one thing about running the high line here. You get off the corner so with, more momentum, and I knew Al would be sticking it under there through the middle, but as long as I didn't burn the tires too bad off, I'd be able to pull away from them, at least keep a little bit of distance.
And my second and final thought to you, Ricky Bilderbeck, what did you think about the lap traffic? There was a lot of lap traffic. Our flagman was waving the move over flag. Did it pose a problem to you?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, we still could run side by side. I think I kind of, Guiley had to check up when I went by him, because otherwise he'd have been in the wall with one lap car underneath me. But other than that, I don't think, I tried to give Rubeck and both Al enough room where if the lap car come up, we'd at least still be able to race a decent race.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time for tonight's winner of the Joliet Valve 100-lap feature event for Ricky, the Rocket Bilderback out of Rockton, Illinois.
Spot gets back in line again. They clear the lap car and dispose of Rasmussen. Still more to encounter here in the final time on the backstretch. They move wide on another lap car to the inside of the racetrack. Here comes Papini to the inside, not close enough. He'll come up a tad short. Ricky Bilderback will win the first of the Twin 100s here.
100-lap feature event to close out our Saturday portion of the 3-day weekend here at the Rockford Speedway, the 35th running of the National Short Track Championships. Go ahead, Nick, take it away.
About set to get underway now as the field on the back straightaway behind the pace truck as it starts to move away from the field. Rubeck was one of those guys that led the middle portion of that event, the first 100-lapper, as they come off turn number 4. Gets a good jump to the start this time. He comes to the stripe but fell back in the late portion of that race. Almost a crash in turn number 1. Several machines get together. That is McCoy spinning. One car up on the left side of the machine. It'll roll over. Bilderback, the winner of the race in turn number 1. In the first race, he has damage. Several machines involved, and it's like a park.
John Reynolds out of his car. And of course, John Reynolds full of mud as the infield crew members.
Car that kind of spun and everybody else checked up, and then they got all locked together and the log jam took place. Back off turn number 4, he'll join the tail end of the field to the stripe. Rubeck to turn number 1, leads them into the corner. They may be apprehensive about going into the turn after that wreck took place and a lot of oil dry on the bottom of the racetrack, but they're going full bore and going as hard as they normally would. Off the corner, still dead even for the lead, but Eldridge in the Ford trying to move by the Chevrolet of Rubeck to turn number 1, going to the outside of the racetrack. Miller going to get to the outside groove after initially going to the bottom of the speedway, but Rubeck was a little bit slower, that held him up. On pit road again, McCoy, something not right with his car after repairs were made. He's now back into the pit area, to the attention of his crew. They're not really in a frantic pace as far as going underneath the hood to look and investigate further on what the problem exactly is. A tough rate by McCoy. Eldridge leads the way to turn number 1 to the outside. Miller trying to go up on the high groove 2 to following Dorf directly in front of the leader. It'll play to his favor. He's been working to the inside, so it makes no difference. To the inside is Middendorf. That's going to hold up Rubeck. Rubeck gets boxed in momentarily back to turn 1, a 3-wide situation, but hey, they went by him so rapidly it didn't make any difference. Even though if they was 3 wide, it didn't stay there for long. Off the corner, they'll close in on Rasmussen to the inside of the racetrack. He'll work the apron. Off the turn, down the backstretch, one car spins. It is Michael Eady making contact with Papini in turn number 3. Other cars now taking evasive action, including Rubeck, who almost single file restart. Eldridge back to the stripe. Going to see if he can get a jump on the machine of Rubeck. Rubeck pulls to the inside. No traffic to deal with. Back to turn 1. Rubeck remains down low going into the corner. Pulls even coming off the turn. The Chevrolet down to the inside. The Ford of Eldridge to the high side. They work to turn 3. Here comes Miller, Dennis that is, to the inside of Jeremy. Double wide there for the 3rd spot while the battle rages on for the lead back into the corner. Trouble along the front straightaway. One machine hard into the concrete along the inside wall. It is April Reamer. Not sure if she received help or not. Running near the tail. And as they head off into turn number 3, the pace car exits the racetrack. We're about set to go green. It flies up high and goes in the air as they head to turn number 1. Eldridge down to the inside being challenged yet again. Rubeck, he was good on the restarts in the first 100-lapper. He's trying to put the move on Eldridge in turn number 3, diving to the bottom. Here goes Eldridge. I don't believe he was looking directly in front of him. He was paying attention of what was happening more so in his rearview mirror. Almost lost the lead. It almost cost him that time in turn number 3. He hangs on to it, but still, he's got his hands completely full, gripping the steering wheel as tight as possible, opening up the lane down low. Here comes Rubeck. Miller's to the outside in the 3rd spot. Jeremy, that is. Dennis trying to see which lane to follow. Which one will open up first? None does. Here goes Jeremy to the outside. Dennis will do the same. Along with Hacker there also making a 4-car battle for the race lead. Jeremy Miller trying to get the win here this evening. He's directly behind Eldridge for the top spot. Down low is Rubeck. Rubeck moving up off the bottom of the speedway, almost into the side of Miller midway down the backstretch. That's the challenge for the 2nd spot. Rubeck knows if he can just hold on to that spot, he may could actually challenge Eldridge, but Eldridge's going to pull away as long as they race double wide. That's just all there is to it. It's Eldridge leading. Running 2nd is Jeremy Miller. Riding in the 3rd spot, double wide for it. Poking the nose ahead, getting the slight edge is Rubeck over Dennis Miller. 4th is Hacker sitting in the, or I should say he's running actually in the 5th position because they're double wide still for 3rd with Rubeck and Dennis Miller. 6th is Guile. And that is the front pack, and they've been able to break away from everybody else. A lot of cars picking the inside and outside lanes if they can. The way they're racing from 2nd on back, it's almost like they're at a pace lap at high speed. Miller trying to chop it down low. He actually wants to get to the inside. He's been hanging up there on a high groove a lot of times. Been making it work though, doing it the hard way, but for now he pokes the nose ahead of Rubeck. Rubeck at times pokes the nose ahead. Still, that's a drag race that's been ongoing for the last 10 or 11 laps. Hacker also there, directly behind Rubeck. If he could get behind Miller, he's the fastest car. He could probably literally push him and move him by. But it's Rubeck trying to move up into line. I actually think he wants to get to the outside groove, but as long as they stay dead even with him and block the outside, he's not going to get there. He's just going to try to maintain his groove where he's got. That's on the inside of the racetrack, so he's doing the best he can with the cars that he's being dealt with. Now starting to get under a good stretch of green flag racing. That's where you begin to see who's got what and who doesn't have anything. You'll see guys come from the back to the front. Some guys fade and go to the back. One car down to the inside, smacking the concrete. Smoke now trails from underneath the car. Caution flag is out. His car sits up against the wall. I believe that's the George Bone automobile. As he sits up against the
car. Ricky, a tough break for you. Certainly you went into this race with high expectations considering your finish in the first race.
Yeah, I mean, that's short track racing. We seem to wreck about as much as we win, so the car's not that bad, but it broke the rack, so we're done for the evening. It's kind of it's a no point situation where you might as well either win or you don't. Might as well not go back out.
Well, Ricky, this could be your last race here at Rockford Speedway for year 2000 as you probably head up to La Crosse to take part in the Oktoberfest. We want to thank you for some exciting racing here at the Rockford Speedway throughout the season.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to thank all the fans that's come out every week and really cheered us on. And next year is going to be a really good year, and we'll be here for it.
We certainly wish you the best. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Bilderback up on the front straightaway. What happened?
Well, I'm not really sure. The yellow was out and was up here in 3 and 4, and I was under Dennis. I guess he didn't know I was underneath there, and we just got together and busted a tie rod in. Car won't steer no more.
Okay, Bobby Hacker out of the race with right front suspension damage, unable to continue. Thanks a lot, Bobby Hacker.
Flag racing, couple lap cars to the inside. Eldridge wants to break away as soon as possible. Successfully clears the lap machine going to turn number 1. Jeremy Miller does the same. The car not so lucky is Rubeck, who's to the outside, has trouble disposing of the lapped automobile on the back straightaway as he heads for turn number 3. Rubeck down low now that he's cleared the lap car and trying to press hard on Miller's machine, but Jeremy holds on to the spot. He's done a nice job all night long. Miller to the outside, opening up the lane to the bottom of the speedway. He'll keep the position for now. Rubeck, 3rd. 4th, directly behind him is Dennis Miller. Then you go back to Papini. Now, Papini can be the real player here. He was consistent earlier on, and I think finished something like, I'm going to say second, yeah, in the first of the Joliet Valves Twin 100s. He's currently fifth now, and I would say he or Dennis Miller are the odds-on favorite now to win the overall championship. Hey, they may not win tonight, but hey, consistent as far as a race, but consistency is what plays a part. They're one of the few cars that don't have some sort of a nick, dent, or ding on their machines. When you come to places like this, sometimes you're going to replace everything but the roof. And the body men will be hard at work. Rubeck challenging third from third down to the inside, trying to take second off the corners. At the exit of turn number 4 is usually where he gets his run. He has to move back to the outside, but hey, if he does the same thing that Miller's going to do, he ain't going to make the pass. Eldridge off the end of the backstretch, swinging wide of a lap car. That's Middendorf. Middendorf knows they're coming. He might as well just stay there a little bit longer because he knows other cars on the lead lap are down there as well. They're coming in a hurry. They bypass him down to the inside. Miller got his hands full opening up the lane. He's been working to that outside, but at the exit of turn number 4, he'll pinch Rubeck off at the exit of the turn. Single file back to turn number 1. Down to the inside again comes Rubeck. Man, this has been a pretty good race to watch from second on back. Hey, you don't even pay no attention to the leader because Eldridge is pulling away as long as they race double wide. That holds up everybody else behind them as Miller is in the 4th position following the inside groove. Rubeck, though, just don't have the strength and the muscle to get up and around Miller. On occasion, the leaders will encounter some lap traffic, but it's kind of been sporadic throughout the racetrack. It's not been in a big cluster that they've encountered like we saw in the first race. Of course, a lot of that has to go to the wreck that happened at the start of the race where it involved 11 cars on the initial green. As they headed into turn number 1, they all piled up. Eldridge off turn number 4. Eldridge, who used to run here on a regular basis, has now been racing here frequently the last year or so, currently leading. He's won here at this racetrack before, in position to win again tonight. Had a pretty good run earlier on in the race. The car was not exactly right, but made some adjustments, and hell, it shows. He's continued to lead. He's led from the outset of the race. Finished 8th, the last car in the lead lap in the first 100-lap race earlier on in the night. Rubeck has kind of settled down for the moment. He's not really doing anything as far as to pull alongside, flash by. Occasionally he'll look down low. This time he does it in turn number 3. There for a moment, looked like he was going to be content to just kind of ride there for the moment. This stage of the race, Dennis Miller may just want to see how strong Rubeck and Jeremy Miller are. He's been playing catch-up, so to speak, for around the last 20 laps or so, trying to get up to him. Finally, he's caught him. He's down to the inside following Rubeck. Papini directly behind him. Now, that's a tight race going and one you want to watch if you're in the grandstand. Because they were second and third, respectively, in the first race. Bilderback won the first race. He fell out of this race as he got in that wreck on the start of the event in turn number 1. So he's out of the picture as far as winning the overall championship of the Joliet Valves Twin 100s. They're off turn number 4. Jeremy Miller literally pushing the car of Rubeck to turn number 1. Eldridge working the high groove. The farthest he can pull away is a car length. Trouble along the front straightaway. The lap car, Middendorf, makes contact with the machine of Rubeck. Rubeck, who loses the back end, it comes around on him. He came across the racetrack. He goes off turn number 4, down the stripe, about set for the restart. Just 20 laps to go to decide this one. Eldridge done a great job so far. He's led from the start of the race. You couldn't ask for a more perfect night, but so far he's got to be wondering when it's coming. When are they going to gang up on me? They've been right behind him all night long. They've just yet to pull up underneath him or go to his outside to challenge him. Eldridge back to turn number 1, down to the inside, a challenge for second. A couple of Millers now joined at the hip on the back straightaway as they work back to turn number 3. Miller down to the inside, Jeremy or Dennis that is, trying to put the move on. They make contact at the stripe. He has to fall back in line. He's not going to make the pass. Jeremy does a good job of kind of holding him off. Hey, at this later stage of this race, you have no friends. If you're caught in the odd predicament, hey, tough. He's still down. Jeremy Miller, he's had a couple of close calls throughout the race. Yeah, he made some boo-boos, but hey, he worked himself out of it. That had to show something. A lot of talent that he has on only a second year driving a late model stock car here at Rockford Speedway. In the second position right now, holding the runner-up spot, but about to lose it. Getting the black flag is Middendorf, who's to the inside of the racetrack. May go to the garage and park it for good. Off the banking in turn number 4, across the stripe. Miller still working on the back bumper of Jeremy Miller. Dennis Miller, that is, falls back a car length. The log jam starts behind him. About 3 cars running nose to tail, with Miller starting in the 3rd position. 4th is Papini. Running in the 4th spot is the machine of Guile. Guile back to turn number 1, trying to follow the move down to the inside. Should something come available with Miller. Hey, he pulls even every now and then, but then loses ground on the straightaways. Jeremy Miller able to hold on to the 2nd position. That's where he currently runs. He may just want to feel happy if he comes away with a 2nd place finish the way he's been challenged tonight. He's been looking in his rear view and trying to drive straight ahead. While he's doing that, he's losing touch with the leader. Travis Eldridge works to turn number 3. He really hasn't been pressured all night long, just a couple of times on a restart, but right now he has clear racetrack ahead of him. So a lot of daylight there, and he's starting to open up a little daylight on 2nd place. Jeremy Miller, who sits in the runner-up spot. Dennis Miller down to the inside. It's just a matter of time before he goes by. He's worked on him pretty good. He's tried the low side, he's tried the outside groove, but has yet to make something work in order to pull by and grab sole possession of the runner-up spot. Trying to grab the 2nd spot, but Papini stays with him. This could get interesting. Those two now trying to win the overall championship. Just 5 laps to go. They head into the main straightaway. Don't be surprised if you see some bumping and banging going on here in the late going for the runner-up spot. Here's Dennis Miller down to the inside, double wide with Jeremy Miller, who's to the outside. Down to the inside of him, following Miller, thinking about making it 3 wide is Papini. He thinks better of it, heading back to turn number 1. Papini tries to go outside, loses a car length, but the reason why he's backing off, he's hoping that the 2 Millers will get together and give way to him so he can move into 2nd should they make contact. Not happened yet. They've been close on a couple of occasions. They're swinging wide on McCoy off the end of the backstretch to turn number 3 to get by him. The chief starter now giving the move over sign to several of the lap cars which are in the way. Eldridge now about set. The next time he comes around, he'll take the white flag. He leads by 5 car lengths entering turn 3. Here's Dennis Miller to the inside, challenging Jeremy. Off turn number 4, white flag in the air for Eldridge. Back to turn number 1, works the middle groove, clears the lap car. On the back straightaway, which is Stevens on the midpoint of the backstretch. In turn number 3, clear racetrack for him. 2 car length edge he has. Off turn number 4, checkered flag goes to Travis Eldridge. Second place is Jeremy Miller. Dennis Miller finishes third. Al Papini finished in the fourth spot. And Tommy Guile finished in the fifth position.
Travis's Eldridge first feature win as coming to the forefront in his young NASCAR late model driving career here at the Rockford Speedway and thereabouts. Your crew coming in to congratulate you. Heck of a run, Travis.
Well, these guys deserve it, man. They stuck with me all year. We had a lot of problems at the beginning of the year. We started running good at the end. I got to thank my mom and dad. Without them, I wouldn't be doing it. The crew did a great job. All my sponsors, just everybody. It's been worth it now.
Well, do me a favor. Take a look at this beautiful trophy that you won. It's being presented to you by Pat Sharp of the Joliet Valves Company as Travis Eldridge extends the handshake and the victory trophy.
White flag in the air for Eldridge. Back to turn number one, works the middle groove, clears the lap car. On the back straightaway, which is Stevens on the midpoint of the backstretch. In turn number three, clear racetrack for him. 2-car length edge he has. Off turn number four, checkered flag goes to Travis Eldridge. Second place is Jeremy Miller. Dennis Miller finishes third.